Hello everyone, myself Dr. Vinayak, Head and Assistant Professor, Department of Environmental Science, School of Earth Sciences, Punyashlok Ahilyadev Hokar, Solapur University, Solapur, Maharashtra. I welcome you all in this international conference on sustainable development and environmental issue. First of all, I thanks to organizers, organizing committee, and the principal of both the colleges for giving me this opportunity in this conference. So, my topic is strategy for global water resources. As we know, this water is very important resource for the life, and without water we can't live, or nobody can live without water. And for that, I must congratulate the organizer for selecting this theme in this conference. So this is the content of my presentation. So I will first of all cover the introductory part. In that introductory part, I will cover the little bit part about the sustainable development, environmental issues related, the environmental issues. And secondly, I will focus on sustainable development, the definition, need, and this sustainable development goals. Afterwards, I will cover the global water strategy, aim, vision, and the objectives. Then after, I will cover the targets for year 2030. Later on, I will focus on the global water overview, the status of the global water, and the uses of the globally this uses of the water global level. Afterward, I will focus on this India water status and the uses of the water. Later on, we will focus the availability of water per capita at global level as well as in national level. Then after, I will cover water resources in India and what are the crises in India, what are the solution and technology in India, otherwise in and also in abroad also or world level. So first of all, we will see what exactly sustainable development. I think you all must be listen, and I think most of the resource person they have talked on the sustainable development. But in my point of view, what exactly in the sustainable development? If you see the background of the sustainable development, so this term was originated from the United Nations Stockholm Conference, and I think everybody known about this Stockholm Conference, so which was held in 1972, and the theme was the human and environment. And in that conference, they acquired the power to transform their environment in countless ways on unprecedented scale. So the that human and environment that refers in that era, that's why this conference was very popular and very famous for this sustainable development. One such a strategy which was dubbed and sustainable development was mainstreamed through the publishing of our common future in 1987, and that conference is a very famous conference, that is UNWCED, that is United Nations World Commission on Environment and Development. There also the human and environmental issues was discussed, and they have planned for the future also. Then after this WCD, when it was held, that was largely held, and because of the growing recognition of human impacts on the planet and the negative feedbacks of the environmental degradation on humans, which were felt most acutely in the developing world. So this is about what the sustainable. Then why sustainable development? To whom sustainable development? Why it is necessary? So this sustainable development which is required the active involvement of the stakeholders. So who is the stakeholders? We all are the stakeholders. Governments, from the government, NGOs, private sector, civil societies, all are the stakeholders of this sustainable development. And we have to, we as well as you have to remind policymakers to make decisions which protect your future. You can remind them that want better jobs, cleaner cities, more equitable resources distribution, and all. So a guarantee that your future is secure, full of opportunity, pleasant world to live in, and health planet. So this is the main aim of this sustainable development. Afterwards, when sustainable development goal was fixed, earlier it was 7 goals, later on it was in 2015-16 onwards, they have uh, uh, the 17 goals they have fixed, and accordingly the 17 goals they are working on that themes. So sustainable development goals are call for the action by all the countries, and in this sustainable development all the countries they are involved in this sustainable development. So the in that countries in that sustainable goal, the countries they may be poor, rich or middle income, to promote the prosperity which can protect the planet. This recognizes that ending of the poverty must go hand in hand with strategies that build economic growth and address a range of the social needs that includes education, health, social protection, and also the job opportunities. So while tackling the climate change and the environmental protection. So this is the main purpose need of the sustainable development, means which can be uh, remove the problems from the nation. So that was very nicely defined in the Brundtland Conference in 1987. So what they defined, so in the sustainable development is a development that meets the need of the present without compromising the ability of the future generation to meet their own needs. Means simply sustainable development is a development that meets the need of the present without compromising. So whatever your need, so without any compromising the ability of the future generation to meet their own needs. So means we have to conserve the resources, we have to protect our resources for the future generation, for the future or the future upcoming the future of the generation. So for them we have to conserve our resources. So this was very nicely defined in the 1987's Brundtland report. So if you look at the goals of the sustainable development, presently they have listed 17 goals, and in these 17 goals they have covered all the problems of all the nations they have covered in this, and you have to solve the problem through these goals. Means you have to get one goal for remove as well as uh, the remove the problem from that nations. Likewise similar you can see the sustainable development goal. So our conference is based on the water, our conference is based on the sustainable development and the environmental issues. If you look at the issues, there are various types of the issues. If you look at the environmental issues, then it will comes under the environmental related issues. But in that environmental issues related, the pollution, population, then biodiversity, loss of biodiversity, then and air pollution, water pollution. Likewise, all these are the coming under the environmental issues. But if you focus on the water and its sanitation, it will coming under the sustainable development number 6 goal. So these goals which can transform our world. So if you look at this, you can see the picture which covers 17 goals, and they have given the what exactly goal for what purpose. So as per the conference, I have selected the sustainable development 6 goal, which is for clean water and the sanitation. As we know, the day by day the population, urbanization, developmental agriculture developments, even industrialization, because of the over consumption, because of the overuse, misuse, the most of the resources, most of the water resources, water bodies, they are contaminated, which is not feasible for the drinking. And because of that, most of the health issues overcome or upcoming in the day by days. So for that, every nation has to focus on the clean water and sanitation. As we know, we have very little amount of water, and that water, if it is in contaminated form, we cannot use for the drinking purpose, even for the other domestic activity purpose. So for that, you have to focus on the sustainable development 6 goal number 6. So that's why sustainable United Nations, they have fixed the 17 goals, and each nation or every nation, they have to focus, they have to work on that, and accordingly they have to plan for their nation for the sustainable development. So if you look at the global point of view, so water strategy, water is one of the most valuable resource to ensure the sustainability of the planet and those who inhabit it. So I think everybody knows what is the importance, what is the problem, what are the uses of the water. So global point of view, it is very for the drinking it is very less amount of water is available. And if we are not protecting that water, that much water, so the problem will be a major. We are aware about its critical importance for life and for almost all the human activities, and the same time aware of its fragility and the shortage. This concern, which has already been addressed in our commitment with sustainable development, generates now, due to its importance, the global water management strategy, that is GWM strategy. In that strategy they have mentioned what are the strategies under this water or water resources. So this is the global view of this water strategy. This is very nice example given by the Kennedy. So I think everybody look at this picture and they have to understood what exactly that picture showing to us. So one person can make a difference. I think everybody knows I can change the world. You have the ability, you can do that, you will do that, you can do that, you will change the world. How? Your involvement should be in this activity. If you are involving in this marathon or in this particular activity, means you will change the world. You can change the mindset of the people, mindset of the nation, mindset of the state, or even home also. So for that, youth is very important, children are very important, because they are the messenger, they are changers of the world, they are changers of the nations, they are changers of the mindsets of the mindsets. They can change the mindsets of the people, or they can aware the people around surrounding areas. That's why he has given a very nice picture, I can change the world. So value that, yes, youth are the most important actors, because youth having a very strong power, they can change anything. If you involve in this particular problem, sustainable development, they will change the nation, even though they can change the local to global level. So you have to involve the youth in this particular uh, yeah, activity. So yes, it is about our future, and our future in the our future is in the youth. Our future is our youth. So youth, whatever youth can do, so of course we can get the from that their work as well as their activities. So in this overall the sustainable development, the youth are very important in the water conservation, water uh, awareness, as well as in the sustainable development. So after that, the strategy for global water resources. What are the strategies as per the topic? So topic is we are just coming on this topic, that is strategy for the global water resource. The global water resource strategy that visualizes a water secure world. This is very important, and I think everybody agree with this. Visualizes a water secured world. World should be the water secured. If it is not secured, means we can face the problem where people and nation have the water they need to the healthy, prosperous, and resilient. So all three are very important. That should be the need to the healthy, prosperous, and resilient. Means we have to conserve, we have to secure our water resources for our world, where the people and the nation have the water, and they need to the healthy as well as the prosperous and the resilient. Okay. And I think everybody known and agree about this elixir of the life is the water, and the most important nutrient for the human body. Without water, I have already told that without water, and everybody knows about it, this is, you can refer everywhere. So without water we cannot live, nobody can, or without water no life will not survive. After the water, means after the oxygen, the next is the after the oxygen is the water, means next to the oxygen is the human body needs the water for their survival, in order to the survive. Water is a crucial for the advancing human right, reducing poverty and inequality, and enabling the peace, justice, and system. All are very, very important for this in this present days. Water is crucial for advancing human rights, reducing poverty. I think everybody knows we have seen two major wars. Afterwards, everybody is saying, and one of the fellow, he has given a statement, the next war will be on water, and I think world agreed for this statement. So next war may be on resources, and I think everybody, we all known our boundaries, problems of the boundaries on what particular basis. So most of the for the resources, and in that resource, forest and water, the main resources are there. So for the fighting for this resources, most of the boundaries, or most of the state as well as countries, they are fighting on this for this particular resources. This reducing the poverty, as we know, if we have the water, you will reduce the poverty. And we have the what do you say that we have historically, if you see the settlement of the any area, or settlement of the any city, it is in and around the water bodies. Means you can understood what exactly the importance of this water. Means if you have water, means your area will be the developed. If you don't have the water resources, means you will be underdeveloped, or maybe in the developing stage. So if you have the water, you are the richer, you are rich. And inequality and enabling peace, justice, and sustainable. Similarly, these are all points are very important. Therefore, Sustainable Development 6, which can provide unique opportunity to the accelerate progress on the 2030 agenda. As I said in earlier slide, that is Sustainable Development 6 goal, which can provide opportunity to accelerate progress on the 2030 agenda. So what exactly in that? So whatever your future, it is in that sustainable development goals, and in that particular 6 is for water, and that water should be the safe and secure in form. If it is not in that form, means your future will be the a major problematic. So water is the core of sustainable development. That's why it is given a very important value in this sustainable development. The core of sustainable development critically for socio-economic development, healthy environment, and for the development of the agriculture sustainable. Afterwards, we can look at the global water strategy. What strategy they have given? What is the aim and vision and the objectives? In the global water strategy, to reduce the diseases and save the lives, eradicate poverty, promote the sustainable economic growth, increases food energy security, build peace and security, and open up international markets. So aim is to reduce the diseases and save the lives, eradicate poverty. I think everybody agree with this. This is a very nice statement has given by this USAID and USSP in their plan. What is the aim? To reduce the diseases and save lives, eradicate poverty. You have to remove the poverty, you have to reduce the diseases, save the lives, and promote the sustainable economic growth. Whatever the growth is there, that should be economical, that should be the sustainable economic growth. That on that particular point you have to focus. Also you have to increase the food and energy security, build peace and security, and open up the international market, so that you will become a great country, you will become a rich in category. And for that, vision is water secure world where the people have sustainable supplies of water of sufficient quantity and quality of meet human economic and ecosystem needs, while managing risk from the floods and the droughts. And the global water strategy, the objectives they have given, that is promote sustainable access to safe drinking water and sanitation services. This is a very important problem in overall world. If you look at the picture in the next slide, you will identify, you will observe that what is the situation. So no, most of the water resources, they are not safe in form. The most of the problems due to the sanitation services and the adoption of the key hygienic behavior. So encourage, secondly, encourage the sound management and protection of the freshwater resources. Means you have to encourage sound management and protection of the freshwater resources. Whatever the resources you have, that you have to protect it, and encourage for the sound management. How you will manage, means how you will increase the capacity, how you will protect the contamination from the contamination, that you have to focus. And third is strengthen water quality, water sector governance, financing and the institution. Means you have to strengthen the water sector governance. Means they have to set the policies, rules for the secure purpose. They can provide the financing for the protection as well as for the for treatment likewise. And you have to involve institutions for the research on the water sector. So these are the very important objectives given by the global water resource strategies action plan report. The new global water the um, global water participants, the strategy focuses on three main areas. So in that, the first is water solutions for the sustainable development goals, climate resilient development, and third is the transboundary water cooperation. So in that, economic growth, population growth, and climate disaster, these are the important and creating water crisis. In many places there is too much, too little, or too dirty water. So there you have to focus on this particular aspect. Poverty, pollution, conflicts, flood, droughts, migration, all this is water related and often life threatening problem. So we need to manage water better and share it carefully. So these are the global water partnership strategy focuses on the important aspect, and in that they have given the three important areas. Okay, so if you look at this picture, you will find out the availability and sustainable management of water. At you can find out you can see here, this is what the global level and this is for Indian level. So in this, what exactly they have pictured, they in the sustainable development 6 goal, which is for clean water and sanitation. So it ensures availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation. 2.6 billion people have gained access to improved drinking water sources since 1990, and 666 million people are still without water. Look at the picture. And that's why the United Nations, they have focused, and that's why they have given the sustainable development 6 goal. They have set this goal for the water resources. If you look at the situation in India, nearly 18% of the world's population, but only 4% of the average global runoff in rivers. Nearly 500 million people are affected by drought in India. Over 20% of the population lives in states which are not yet declared open defecation free. Means now there are some policies, there are some the schemes are coming, like Swachhata Abhiyan, Gram Swachhata Abhiyan, national there are some national schemes are there. So through this, the sanitation free, or we can say the this type of the problems are overcome through this schemes, like Swachhata Abhiyan, like smart cities, likewise. Due to one-fifth child death due to the severe diarrhea are in India. One-fifth of child deaths they are observed in India. Near about every year or each year, nearly 1,02,1813 children die due to the severe diarrhea. So this is a major problem in India due to the contaminated water, due to the water pollution. and when that contaminated or polluted water consumed by the people, so mostly it is affected on the children as well as the old age group of the old age groups. Okay. So, of course, in this particular problem, climate change is also contributing. Climate change is also affecting on the resources. So, how it is? So, it affects on the availability. Whatever the resources are there, they are affected on the affected due to this climate change. It also affecting on the quality and quantity of the water. This is due to the basic human needs and threatening the effective enjoyment of the human rights to water and sanitation for potentially billions of the people. The 2020 United Nations water report, World Water Report, they focuses on challenges, opportunities, and potential which are responses to the climate change in terms of adaptation, mitigation, and improve the resilience that can addressed through the improving water management. This is a very important report which is related to climate change and the adaptation and mitigation of the water resources. What are the targets in 2030? So these are the list of the targets you can refer from this yeah, sustainable development goal, but here the importance is the achieve the universal and equitable access to the safe and affordable drinking water for all. This is very important target, means you have to achieve your universal and equitable access. That water should be universally and equitably access to the stakeholders, and that should be in safe and affordable form. As we know, the cost of the water, 1 liter of the packed water is near about 20 to 25 rupees. So that should not be like that. That should be the affordable to the common man, layman, and that should be the safe and non-contaminated water. So that is the main achievement, that is the main target. Secondly, improve the water quality by reducing pollution. So you have to improve your quality of the resources through reduction of the pollution, eliminate the dumping and minimizing the releases of the hazard. Most of the cities as well as some industries, they are discharging their effluents, or they are disposing their waste into the water bodies, near to the water bodies, and it contaminates the water resources. So that should not be happen in that particular area. So that for that particular you have to work on that. That is our second target. Third is sustainability increases water use efficiency across the sector and ensures sustainable withdrawals and supply of fresh water address water scarcity. And sustainability reduces the number of people suffering from water scarcity. So that should not be happen. So that's why you have to focus on this number 3 target. Fourth is implement integrated water resources. So you have to implement integrated water resource management. So similarly, which can include the transboundaries cooperation as appropriate. So that will helps to the agriculture point of view, and even for the groundwater recharging. And the next last is the protect and restore the water related ecosystem, including mountains, forest, wetland, rivers, aquifers, and the lakes. So similarly, you have to protect the other ecosystems, other areas which are very important for the groundwater recharging, as well as water and soil conservation, their role in the soil and water conservation, that you have to protect it. So these are the main important targets of our through this sustainable development goal up to the 2030. If you look at the global water overview, as I think everybody known about, we have the 67% of coverage of the earth by water, and most of them is near about 97% of water is in the form of the saline water or marine water, which is not useful. But now the scientists or the researchers, they are working on that water also. They are converted into the fresh water. They are converted fresh to the usable for drinking as well as for the industrial purposes. Near about 2.7% is water that is in the form of fresh water, but out of that 2%, nearly 2% is in the form of the ice, and the 0.8 to 0.9% of water is in the form of the fresh water, which we are consuming from from in the form of lake water, river water, dam water, even the groundwater. So that much water we have to secure, we have to protect, we have to not polluted from other pollutants. So that we have to do in our resources for for conservation of our resources. So this is the picture which we have just explained. Salt water is 97.5%, means that this much is the cubic kilometers. The fresh water is 2.5%, salt water is 97.5%, and the rest of 1% is in the form of the zero point 0.3 is the lakes, groundwaters, and glaciers, etc. So these are very important, the points under this global water status, or status of the global water. If you look at the water storage or stored in the water cycle reservoir, of course you will find 97.25% is percent of water occupied by the water oceanic, in the form of oceanic water. Second, 2.5% is in the form of ice caps, and the rest of the water, which is in the form of 1%, nearly 0.8 to 0.9%, is in the form of ground, lake water, soil moisture, atmosphere, streams, and biosphere. So this is the volume of water stored in the water cycle, global water cycle. This picture, you will you can see this availability of water, means how much precipitate rainfall is. The total rainfall is about 4,000 billion cubic meter, and out of that, so total availability of water is 1869 billion cubic meter, and we can utilize the water about 1123 billion cubic meter. Out of that utilization, we are using 690 billion cubic meter for the surface, which is in the form of lake, river, likewise, and 433 billion cubic meter water is in the form of groundwater, in the form of the well, as well as in the form of um, borewell, as well as wells. So this is from the source of the Ministry of Water Resources, Government of India. Likewise, availability of water, if we see the availability country wise, so India is at the here, you can see the, here is India and Pakistan. Okay, so why we are at the second last? Because our population, means our demand is more, our consumption is more. That's why we are at the last, and we have the very less resources, but dependents are more. That's why we are at the second last. And if you look at the first is the Brazil, their population is very low or very less, and their resources are more and more, so they are on the first. Second is Australia, third is USA. So similarly, if you see one by one country wise, we are at the second last, and our the per capita per year, the requirement or availability of water in India is about not more than 5,000 cubic meter per capita per year. So this is the report of Minister of Water Resources. Second, this particular graph which shows the per capita availability of water, and if you see the year wise, in 2025 and 2001, per capita water is about 200, but in future it will be reduced, as I think everybody knows and agree, because population is continuously rising, continuously increasing, and because of that, most the urbanization, even though major activities, and due to these activities, water become uh, because of this activity, water resources are in less form, in less quantity, and which is also in not direct to usable form, and the demands are more. So demands are more, the supply is less, so it will not balanced, and you will see in this particular graph. So the per capita per day per year, the in future the demand and supply will not be matched, and the population will rise and demands will be also rise, and we will not provide their requirements. So of course the reduction in the per capita per day, means Similarly, we are facing the problem of supply of water. Last 10 to 15 years back, we are continuously getting water, but today we are getting the water 2 days after, 3 days after, likewise. So why this is happening? Because demand is increased and resources are very less in form or quantity. That's why this is not balanced. If you look at the third graph, and that graph shows the monsoon pattern or a temporal variation in the rainfall. We don't have the continuous rainfall, and sometimes it is high rainfall, sometimes it is no rainfall, sometimes it is medium or less rainfall. So particularly June, July, August, in that in those months, most of the states or the areas, they're having rain, but in that particular area only the water resources, availability of water resources. But later, and in the rest of the other months, there is no any availability of water, means the demand is where and supply is where. So this is that picture also explains very nice the picture of the nation as well as the global level. This is about the uses of water. Major uses of water in percentage wise: the agriculture, which uses 70%, domestic 8%, and 22% of industries. This is the percentage of total water used. This graph shows, this is the case of India, and which is getting from the Water Resource Institute from Roorkee. So in this annual water requirements for different uses in cubic kilometers. So first, green zone, which is related to the surface water. Second is related to groundwater, and third is the total water uses. So you will find in detail year wise in year 2010 and year 2025 and year 2050, what will be the requirements, what will be the change, low to high, high to low, similar like that. And if you take the example, in 1997 to 98, it is 399, but in 2010 it is increased. Similarly, in 2025 it is again increased. And then year 2050 it is again increased, means day by day increases the population, urbanization, agriculture requirements, and because of that the water consumption is more, the requirement is more. Understood? So this is the main problem of this the supply and demand. This is the annual water requirements for different uses in cubic kilometer. This is again the Indian case study, water use changing the trends of the future. How it changes the, because we know the irrigation sector is the main consumer of the water and they require the maximum water. If you percentage was scenario, if you see the percentage was scenario, for agriculture percentage 83%, likely in scenario in for 2050 it will be reduced. Because why it will be reduced? There may be change in the agriculture pattern, but industry, domestic and other things, they will increase, their consumption will be more in 2050. If you look at the industry, it is 5%. If you look at the industry, it is 5%, and in 2050 it is 9%. In domestic 5%, and in 2050 it is 7%, means it is again increased. Because in this in future population will increase, agriculture will not be more, maybe, as per the NIH report India. So they have mentioned that other activity will also the increases, and because of that increases of other activities, their demands of the water will be the increases. That's why the percentage of water in 2050 will be increases. It is about 16%, and in present scenario it is 7%. So you can understood what exactly will be the in 2050, 2020, 2030 or 2050. So Indian water resources already we have discussed, and about 4% of world's contribution in the contribution. About 4% of world's fresh water is in India, making India in top 10 water rich country in world. But according to Working Group 2 report, climate change, India is designated as a water stressed region because we have resources, but these resources not as per the standard, as per the requirement, as per the usable form. Most of the resources they are in contamination form, which is not useful for the drinking as well as for the other activity. That's why they have termed as the water scare region. If this scenario continues, time is no for India will be the term as a water scare region, and this is the main problem of the Indian water resources. And we have the resources in two forms. One is precipitation form, and secondly we are getting through surface and groundwater resources. I will not be explain about what exactly in the precipitation. So we are receiving near about 4,000 cubic kilometer fresh water to India, which is in the form of rain and snowfall, in which 2047 cubic kilometer return to the ocean evaporation, and then it is precipitated. A small percentage is stored in inland water bodies and groundwater aquifers. Rest of the water is goes to the or meets to the river to ocean. So this is the precipitation or rainfall. Second, from surface and groundwater resources, from this India receives more water, rivers, lakes, groundwater aquifers. So rivers, as we know, we have 12 major river systems: North India, South India, Central India, and all these are the rivers. They are major rivers of the nation India. If you look at their contribution, so the maximum contribution is the Ganga, Brahmaputra, and Brahmaputra. So they contributes about 47%. Godavari contributes 11%. Krishna contributes 8%. Similarly, other some rivers they are contributing 24%. So their contribution is major in this particular uh, river uh, river resource. Second, lakes. Apart from the rivers, India is house to some of the most beautiful lakes of the world, some natural and other officials. So they are there. um, Apart from the rivers, India is the house to some of the most beautiful lakes of the world, and as we know, the lakes are the major uh, in problematic form because the National Lake Conservation Program and State Lake Conservation Program of Ministry of Environment for Forest, they have mentioned that most of the lake water bodies they are in the unusable form because of the contamination, and lakes serve as a source of water for the drinking. They have said that they are useful for the agriculture and even for the industries also. But this is not we can say we cannot say directly we can use directly for the uses for these activities. But these are the major resources. This is major resource for the this all these activities. But the situation is different. And third is groundwater, where the most of the agriculture industries they are depending on this resource. But about 80% of irrigation and 90% of drinking water comes from the groundwater, and it is contributing more than 85% of the drinking water requirements. About 58% of irrigation requirements and more than 50% of urban and industrial water supplies. There are about 20 million users of the groundwater in the country. So this is about groundwater aquifer. So what are the groundwater or water crises in India? As per the Niti Aayog composite water management index, they have reported the flags of the few facts, like six. What they have facts finded given. So the facts are 600 million people face the high to extreme water stress. This is a major problem of the India. 75% of the household do not have the drinking water. This is the second crisis or second the fact in India. 84% do not have the piped water access. 70% of our water is contaminated. So this is given in the Niti Aayog's composite water management index, and on this basis we have to work, and that's why this sustainable development goal is working for this particular resource. You can see the picture of the India. 54% of India faces high to extremely high water stresses. So that may be in the form of the scarcity of water, contamination of water, water pollution, likewise. So this is the high to extremely high water stress. So this is the situation. What is the reason behind this scarcity of water? The very important, the due to excess population growth, and because of this excess population growth, it is imbalanced, supply and demand is imbalanced, and uh, whatever the resources are there, they are in the contamination form, and also the mismanagement of the water resources. So if we solve this problem, so definitely you will get the good water and pure water. Similarly, inefficient use of water for agriculture, reduction in the traditional water recharges, sewage and wastewater drainage, traditional water bodies. Because of this, most of the water contaminated, and release of the chemicals and effluents from the industry, they are also contaminating the resources. Lack of the on-time desilting operation in the large water bodies, lack of efficient water management and the distribution water between urban consumers and the agriculture sector and industry. All these are the points, or all these are the reasons of this water scarcity in India. So this is the main problem. And what are the solution and techniques for this water stress or water issues or water crisis? So if you apply this technique, and this is globally acceptable globally, using these solutions and techniques for the water problem: drip irrigation for agriculture, growing crops even in the desert, you have to apply the drip irrigation. Means you can manage, you can management about this water management, you can manage the water. And second thing, wastewater recycling, means you have to recycle the wastewater for agriculture. The case is from Israel. You can take the example from the Israel. 80% of sewage they are using for the agriculture. Third is extracting water from the air. This is again a very important case study from the Israel company, that is Water Generation Limited. They have extracting water from the air. So this is also third most important technique. Desalination, and we have the 97% globally. If you look at the 97% of water in the form of salt water, that you have to desaline and then you have to use it. And the fifth, very important, fog catcher. So you have to catch the fog and convert it into the water. So that is Peru. Just 2 minutes. It is an innovation which traps water drops from the fog. So this is the very important techniques. You have to apply it and you can recover the water from the this. What needs to be done? So we have to these points, through these points we have to overcome our problems, and we have to do these things. So recognize the right to water for life, graded pricing system for the domestic water supply, proposes comprehensive governance structures, national water quality and footprint standards. Apply for this. Rejuvenation of river systems like Aviral Dhara, continuous flow, and Nirmal Dhara, unpolluted, and Swachh Kinara, clean river banks. So likewise, if you apply this, the river system will be rejuvenated. Prosperous plan proposes baseline development of rivers and establishing of river basin authorities for each interstate river basins, like Ganga Action Plan, Namami Chandrabhaga, Namami Ganga, likewise Yamuna Action Plan, likewise Ganga Action Plan. So similar type of the authorities you have to establish and conserve the resources. So the last point, the conclusion of my overall presentation: the government has come up with World Bank aided schemes and with community participation to ensure sustainable groundwater management in overexploited and groundwater stressed areas. There needs to have multidisciplinary approach involving various scientists and ecologists to transfer various water management techniques. We need to connect with nature to help rebalance the water cycle in sustainable and cost effective way by planting new forests, reconnecting rivers to floodplains, and restoring wetlands. Governments, communities, the private sectors, and researchers must be collaborate. Conscious efforts need to be made at the household level and by communities, institutions, and local bodies. Sustained measures should be taken to prevent the pollution of water bodies, contaminated groundwater, reduce, recycle, and reuse practice must be watchword and apply if have to hand over the livable planet to the future generation. So all these are very important aspects of the global water strategy. If you apply this, you will get the usable form of your resources, and you will solve the problem of your area, nation, as well as the global also. So with this, Thank you so much. I once again thanks to all of you and the organizing committee for giving me this opportunity. If you have any questions, you can write a questions to, and even though you can mail me the question, I can give some answers of this answers of your questions. Thank you very much. Thank you.